Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 8. So today we're going to be talking about confidence, and is it something that you're born with, or how do you develop it? How does our brain play a role in confidence? Is it true that some people just natural at it versus others maybe might never find it? What is the reality in confidence? Yvonne, start us off with helping us understand, what does the brain have to do with confidence? What happens inside our brains?
Elena, so our brain dominates how we feel about ourselves. You know the story about electrical and chemical connections inside of our brain that transform into emotions, mainly fear and pleasure. Your brain number one job, in fact, is to keep you alive because your brain is focused on survival. We, Homo sapiens, are more likely to identify risk rather than the rewards in the situations. When we feel socially threatened, like imagine if someone offends you, or we feel excluded from a group, or we get negative feedback, or we publicly make a mistake, we produce a hormone, the stress hormone called cortisol. Why this is important to our confidence? For example, when presenting in front of a public, and before that, you can imagine your pitch going super well, your brain thinks that is actually happening, and it produces something that encourages you to do better. And the reverse also happens, is that when we think negatively about what is going to happen in the near future when we present, we produce even more stress. The ultimate hormonal confidence cocktail, in fact, is a healthy level of testosterone, or when we feel dominant is color, so the dominance hormone, and the relational low levels of cortisol, a little bit of these stress hormones.
You know, it's interesting when you were talking about how if we imagine how to be, that we're successful doing a presentation, that we will have a higher chance of actually being successful in delivering that. Amy Cuddy, she's a famous psychologist. So she has this concept of the power poses, and there's a lot of debate about whether they work or not work, but there are proofs that it does work for many people. So what is this about? Is she's saying that just as our brain can influence our body, so our thoughts can drive how we feel, our bodies can also influence our brains. So what she's saying is that there's different power poses, which I'm not going to do here, but you can look those up. So there are different power poses. Yeah, you can do the tall and proud power pose. Yeah, so there's different power poses that we can essentially demonstrate before a talk that then sends a signal to our brain to say that we're confident. So basically it's our body fighting with our brain to say, no, you're confident until you actually feel. And there's, again, according to her studies, it does work for many people. And so I think it's very important, and I do it as well, and I think it does work. And in addition to that, we also know from research that confidence is contagious. So this goes back to the idea of, who do you spend your time with, and who are you learning from, who are you imitating, essentially. So we have this effect in our minds called the mirror neuron effect of self-confidence, and it's so powerful because it can convince other people, essentially, to disbelieve their own senses. And basically, maybe you're not confident, but because you're with another person, you begin to mirror them after a while, and you become confident. So your natural self might not be the confident, but after time, you see that their confidence will rub off on you, essentially. So it's and that's been proven as well. So it's very useful things for us to remember.
You know what, Elena? It made me think about the famous saying, fake it until you make it. So your body reacts, affects your brain, and this is what happens. In fact, the power poses is something that I'm continuously using in order to reassure myself, especially when I'm presenting in front of public and I don't feel that confident, that comfortable with myself. So this was interesting. So I guess that in 1 week, we are going to see each other again, discuss a new topic in True or Not. Right?
See you.
See you. Bye.